Mike Attic. Me and Billy were mentioning what we did today and talked about we went to the pool, and it had ended up getting said, if the only problems we have is a few leaves in a swimming pool, we're doing pretty good. And I thought that would be our topic tonight, challenges in recovery. I'm going to call this leaves in the swimming pool problems. In the book here it talks about there is scarcely any form of trouble or misery which has not been overcome among us. That's on page 15. And I think that it's important for newcomers to know that just because I get in recovery doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be challenges. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is that when put in perspective of the kind of challenges, well, let's just say problems that I had when I was out there, these are definitely less in severity. Thus, we call it in recovery leaves in the swimming pool problems or first world problems, problems that ordinary everyday people come across that a lot of times for us, for me before I got here, regular problems can become overwhelming. And I seek out the old threadbare coping mechanism, which is drugs and alcohol. I don't even know if I ever thought it would solve a problem, but it would certainly help me to forget it for a moment, and then I would wake up with the problem that I drank over and probably another one that I created while I was drinking. I don't know, that's just my experience. But in recovery, I think it's important to look at these challenges that come up, and I call them challenges because in our book over and over it talks about how if I work the steps, the problem can be solved. The drink problem, the drug problem. If you're in here and you're not currently high on something and you're within the sound of my voice, I hope that you know that today you have a choice, because when I am on the stuff, I don't have a choice whether I take another one because I've got the craving. But if I'm not on it, then I have a choice to work the program and continue that on a daily basis and go through the challenges that just regular life can bring about. Another quote out of the big book is on 117, and it talks about going through challenges. And of course, always when I go through a challenge, even if it's a small one, it can be big to me, I have to get in the habit of asking God to help me get through it. And in Bill's story on 13, it talks about when in doubt, I was to sit quietly asking for the strength and direction to meet my problems as He would have me. And I think that that's a good habit to get into, especially in the good times, because see, I always went to God in the bad times. The 12 and 12 calls it a Bush League pinch hitter, and I had a lot of guilt of going to God because I had always went back on those promises. I think that recovery affords me the opportunity to get into some new habits, because when I'm thanking God for the things that I've been given, thanking God for this opportunity to be sober and live life clean and sober and be productive, when nothing's wrong, when I do have a challenge, I don't feel so bad about going to God. But anyway, on 117, it talks about going through the challenges, and it said, but all the old problems will not be solved at once. This is as it should be. I won't let them drag me down. These workouts will be regarded as part of my education. I won't let them drag me down. It says, a better way of life will emerge when they are overcome. And I believe that gets into the idea of matching calamity with serenity. Because sometimes I can get caught into this trap that if I just pray hard enough that whatever calamity I'm going through, whether it's real calamity or what I'll concoct in my mind as calamity, it could be matched instantly. But in real life, things aren't matched instantly. Sometimes I have to persevere, and that's the word that I'm looking for off of 117. I think that's the message that it's trying to tell me, is I need to persevere through these new challenges. And when they're overcome, and I look back and you know what, my perseverance and God's help, my calamity has been matched with serenity. And I think it's important to accumulate a number of those lessons so I can not just show myself that, hey, I can get through something without getting high, but what about to show others? And that's the last part in the book that I want to talk about, because it's not just me that I'm being an example of getting through things. Like the first quote talked about, no problem has not been solved among us. On 63 in the third step prayer, it talks about take away these difficulties so victory over them will bear witness to those that I would help. So what it says is getting through challenges of life shows others that it can be done. And I think that's important. So it's not just me that I'm proving it to. I'm showing, and that's how the cycle continues. There's somebody in here that has gone through the challenge and gotten through it sober that I'm either going through now or I'm going to go through. And no matter what the challenge is, no one person could have gone through everything, but I promise you, if you're in recovery and you're new and you're going through something, there's somebody in recovery that has gone through that. The leaves in the swimming pool problems, regular problems that life creates. Now, if you're new, I have to also share that there are going to be some challenges that I created when I was out there that in early recovery I have to try to rectify. One example would be getting that license back, or getting the judge to gavel case dismissed, or get my slip signed. There's going to be some challenges, but I promise you that just like for myself, if I come to meetings and do this deal, those old boomerangs that I threw when I was out there, they can be rectified. I can learn a new way of life where I don't throw new boomerangs and create new wreckage of the present. And my life can become more peaceful and serene. So that's the topic I wanted to talk about, which is regular problems for, recovery life. I'm not going to be absolved of everything just because I'm in recovery, but I should look at it like it says as an opportunity to show myself that I can get through things, to give God the credit that I can get through things, and most importantly, like the book says, to show others that, we can get through things and not have to run back to that old stuff. So that's the topic tonight. I appreciate being asked. I've had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, and I'll pass.